These two altcoins may be the only ones to pump in this downtrend. Is Sui becoming the new Solana? And Chainlink founder Sergey Nazarov comments on the future of Bitcoin. This is your Altcoin Buzz News. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Cody, and if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you know when we drop latest content. Follow us on Twitter, AltcoinBuzzIO, and as always, is not financial advice. We wish you the best of luck in your crypto ventures. Alright, good morning you guys. Bitcoin pretty much in the same exact spot as yesterday. It's been a very boring and kind of slow week so far. We have gotten this follow-up candle yesterday to the downside, and I do expect us probably to continue down here more. The narrative hasn't changed for me just yet. We are making these lower highs on the daily time frame, so I do expect at some point we'll come and get all of this easy liquidity around here, which will take us down towards around $100,000 at some point. If not for a long time, at least a wick down to take out all those stops before we continue higher. So that is the base case for me right now. Nothing has changed too much, but that is it for Bitcoin so far. And then we have Chainlink's Sergey Nazarov commenting on Bitcoin saying this.
Bitcoin is starting to behave as a safe haven asset, and there's more and more instability in the world. For the first time now, it's starting to get decoupled from tech stocks. So if you wanted to choose a second safe haven asset after gold, Bitcoin would now be a logical choice.
We also have the public gold miner Bluebird Mining Ventures to adopt a Bitcoin treasury strategy. They plan to convert future revenues from its mining projects into Bitcoin. So a gold miner is now going to be adopting a Bitcoin treasury strategy. We also have Matthew Siegel saying JP Morgan plans to offer clients financing against crypto ETFs. So if you have crypto ETFs, whether it's, a BlackRock one, a Fidelity one, whatever ETF you might have, JP Morgan will soon let you borrow against those ETFs, which is massive. And then moving on to another strategic reserve, we have Classover Holdings to raise $500 million to buy Solana. So Classover Holdings, a New York-based education company, plans to raise $500 million in senior secured convertible notes with up to 80% of its proceeds going straight into Solana tokens. The deal kicks off with an $11 million initial investment once conditions are met, and the partnership is with Solana Growth Ventures, LLC, which can convert the debt into equity. Combined with a recent $400 million equity raise aimed at Solana purchases, Classover now has up to $900 million ready to fuel its crypto treasury. The company has already acquired 6,472 SOL tokens, worth roughly nearly $1 million, and the Solana ecosystem is already attracting companies like Sol Strategies and DeFi Development Corp, which take larger reserves and expand infrastructure around the blockchain. Sol Strategies alone holds 395,000 SOL tokens, valued at $63 million. With Solana as its treasury, Classover aims to support its core business as well as capture upside in the rapidly evolving crypto space. So this education company is now going to have a Solana strategic reserve. So we have XRP ones, we have Ethereum ones, we have Solana, and we have Bitcoin ones. So I think we're going to see a lot more companies start to hold crypto on their balance sheet as treasuries. Then we have Michael Nadu saying one of the biggest challenges while achieving standardized metrics for our industry is that different chains will push different metrics. Solana wants you to focus on velocity, Ethereum wants you to focus on RSOV, and Hype wants you to focus on buybacks. In my opinion, the industry should always focus on value to token holders, as in, if I buy this token, what do I get claimed to if I stake the asset? And Solana leads in this category. We also have Fabiano saying at this point, Solana is only winning. In just 2 years, Solana increased its share of total DApp revenue from 0.3% to 57%. The best place to build and consume in Web3 is on Solana. And we also have Blockworks Research saying May was a positive month for Solana, with on-chain activity showing resilience across various fronts. Real economic value, $121 million, plus 37% month-on-month. App revenue, $214 million, which is plus 22% month-on-month. DEX volumes, $135 billion. And stablecoin supply, $11.4 billion. So Solana has seen, Solana has had a pretty good month of May. Now we are starting to have that kind of sell-off. So this was May, all throughout here, this huge pump. And now we're starting to see the downturn right now. Solana is not looking the best right now. We've had this underside retest where we wicked back above and we instantly sold off. A lot of this has to do with potentially pump funds selling off to raise money for an ICO, and just the general downturn in the market right now as the market kind of cools off after its massive pump in May. And we're also going into the slow summer choppy season. So a lot of companies do tend to sell off and then go on vacation for the summer. A lot of big VCs start selling for the summer. So we could see a slow, choppy summer, unfortunately. It looks like Solana is, kind of pretty weak right here. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we came down here. Maybe we had a little bit of a pump and we came down towards $135 at some point. And then we started to form a base for the next leg up. Whether this takes a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, it really depends on how slow the summer wants to be. It looks like at the very least, we're probably going to come down here towards 135. If we go lower than this, it's not going to be ideal because it wouldn't be a higher low anymore and we'd be heading back down here. So ideally, we do not want to break down below this $130 zone. But this is what I'm looking for right now on Solana. Not too much to do right here as we're kind of in the middle of this big range. And then moving on, we have CryptoRS saying daily active addresses on the SUI network have increased over 14% from Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. We also have Masari's State of SUI Network Q1, the key updates where the SUI ecosystem expanded rapidly across DeFi, gaming, and institutional adoption, solidifying its position as a rising star among Layer 1 blockchains. For quarter-over-quarter metrics, we have daily DEX volume up 14.5% to $304.3 million at an all-time high. SUI climbed to the 13th largest crypto by market cap, and the ecosystem expanded access to 100 million plus users. We also have SUI lending protocols offering 2 times the APY of Solana, with yields up to 12.69% on stablecoins. And the SUI network also shared big news from the Middle East. SUI is proud to collaborate with VARA Dubai to support startups, nurture local talent, and grow the virtual asset ecosystem together. And then Marty Party shares a SUI ETF update. 21 shares applies to list their SUI network ETF on the NASDAQ exchange via the commodities-based trust shares. Note they already applied to list on the SIBO, which is pending approval. So the NASDAQ and the SIBO exchange could be getting SUI ETFs soon. We also have a Torero Romero sharing SUI flip Solana and daily stablecoin transfer volume. So SUI is flipping a lot of metrics for a lot of chains. But I will say SUI is one of the ones where it looks like it needs a little bit more time to cool off. We had such a huge pump up before that we are coming back down here. We're pretty much testing the underside here. And I wouldn't be too surprised if at some point we come back down here towards around $2.75 in kind of tandem with Bitcoin hitting around high 99, $100,000. I wouldn't be too surprised if we come back down here. Now, one thing you can also do is you can take the Fibonacci retracement tool and you can take it from the recent low of the latest leg to the recent high. And if you look at the 618 and the 65 level, that's the golden pocket. And so that's kind of the optimal place to buy a pullback. And so it's around, the 65% retracement of a latest move. So if we come back here, it kind of correlates to pretty much what we're saying, where if we come down here towards this $2.75 level, it's the optimal level to rebuy this for a pullback to continue higher. So all these things kind of line up for us and add extra confluence that if we do come down here, it's probably a pretty good area to pick up SUI if you get this 65% pullback. Walrus protocol has the fastest solution for data storage on the market today. It's from the team behind SUI. It's a potential Filecoin killer because it does some things that Filecoin can't, and it's now climbing up in the market cap rankings to the top 100. One thing is that it's so resilient that even with only a few nodes operating, your data availability won't be affected. Decentralized data storage on Walrus is solving a big problem that many blockchains suffer from. That's poor coordination, and it affects you more than you realize. Walrus protocol has some big advantages with SUI and the Move programming language over other decentralized data providers. The problem, as they call it, is coordination. It's making sure that if a protocol does 3 things, that those things work seamlessly with each other. Also, the protocol needs to work with other projects in the ecosystem and with the blockchain infrastructure like validators. Walrus has some new partners as well, like Clanosaurs and Seal for security and privacy management. The Walrus mainnet and wall token launch were a huge success. And to stay up to date on mainnet activities and other news, make sure to follow the Walrus protocol's X account and other socials linked down below. And then also we have Plume and RWA season is inbound. Plume Genesis will be launching on June 5th, 2025, which is today. So we have Plume announces Plume Portal mainnet. The Plume Network announced Plume Portal, your go-to dashboard for exploring and tracking everything in the Plume ecosystem. With Plume Portal, you can discover ecosystem dApps, track your portfolio, check your Plume points, and leaderboard rank. Plume points are at the core of engagement in the Plume ecosystem, and you can earn Plume points by using dApps, completing quests, referring friends, and spinning the daily wheel. These points will play a key role in Season 2 of the Plume airdrop, and the more points you earn, the bigger your share of the rewards. So Plume mainnet going live, as well as Plume Portal. Now I will say Plume is one of the ones where it's a little bit harder to tell. We have to go to a lower time frame here. On the 4-hour, we are kind of dripping below this, the latest low, which is not ideal. What I mentioned a couple days ago is we want to see consolidation here, and then we want a higher low to form, and that's where you want to enter Plume. Now I will say Plume's at this area where it looks like it wants to break down below these lows. So it's not at an area that I would want to be buying just yet. We probably want to see it either come down here to whatever level it might come to. We want to see it consolidate, and then we want to see it break up, and that's where we would want to get involved, right about here. Whether it happens up here or down here or wherever it might be. This is not an area that I would be interested in Plume just yet because it looks like it wants to be. It looks like it wants to break down from here and head lower. It doesn't look the strongest, so it looks like it might do something like that for now. So we're going to be waiting a little bit on Plume. And then lastly for today, we have Crypto Edit saying big moves for ENA Coinbase is listing Athena's ENA on June 5th, which is today. Trading begins once liquidity conditions are met. It's no coincidence that ENA and Securitize are launching an RWA-focused blockchain this month. Institutions are watching. The future of real-world assets is being built now. And we also have Tom Wan saying Athena Labs has posted the lowest FDV to revenue ratio in May 2025, and USDE is back to $5.7 billion market cap, just 5% away from all-time highs. Bullish convergence on-chain, powered by the big four, Arbitrum, Celestia, Athena, and Securitize. And then we have Not Telling saying ENA whales are positioning accordingly before the launch of Convergence on-chain, which is the RWA-focused blockchain they're launching with Securitize, who has BlackRock as an investor, who also has a board seat on Athena Labs' board. So while whales may be buying ENA, it's not time for us just to buy yet. We talked about this earlier this week, I believe, where we have this level of accumulation. This is where whales accumulate. But as retail investors, where we have money that needs to be capital efficient, we need to use our money wisely. Unless you want to just buy a spot and wait, that's totally fine. But if you want to use your money wisely, you want to wait for the whales to finish accumulating. You want to pump up and then retrace, and you want to buy this retrace because it's about to break out. You don't want to wait through this months of just accumulating and waiting for it to go, chop up and down. We're just doing right now. So earlier this week, we talked about how it was starting to break back above here, but it did, just ended up being an underside retest. And it looks like it probably wants to go back down here towards 26 cents. So we're pretty much in this range right now. This is the mid range around 35 cents. We're testing the underside of it, and now we're starting to break down, probably down towards 26 cents. I wouldn't be interested in this unless we broke above this range, which would coincide with this right here, where if we broke above 43 cents, I'd be interested again, because then we're probably going higher and the whales have finished accumulating. So what's most likely going to happen is we're going to come down here and we're going to continue to chop between these levels for, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, something like that. And then once we do break above, this is where you want to get involved once we are above this level. And so that is ENA, and that's pretty much the market for today. Not a lot going on. We pretty much have Bitcoin slowly bleeding out. It's kind of been a painful week of just, chop and slow bleed. This is not ideal to be trading. So we're pretty much just want to be hands off right now. We want to be waiting for the next level. We want to be waiting for this dip buy down here. We want it to come down towards $100,000, and that's when you want to start loading up, on altcoins that are maybe 10 to 20% down, and Bitcoin possibly if you want to buy Bitcoin. But we're pretty much waiting for this to happen, and I think it might be a slow, choppy next couple of weeks as we start to head into summer. But after that, I think it's going to present really good buying opportunities for altcoins and Bitcoin as we go into Q4 this year. So that is the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow.